There we go. Now I'm actually recording it. There we go.
Well, what do we want to talk about?
All right. So let's all get to let's all get to know each other. So
Oh, yay.
So that way we're a bit more comfortable with each other. We find out what we like, what we don't like, what we play
Sure,
on.
so just kind of cool. Well,
All right. So
are you
Evan,
gonna do an intro?
no, Evan.
do an
Let's start with you,
intro?
Evan.
Are you gonna do an intro?
An intro?
Like, yeah, you gotta do an intro.
Elaborate here.
Oh, like so. When I was doing the podcast, I'd just be like, "Hello and welcome to a Wild Podcast Appears. I'm your host, Evan Holtrap. With me, I have Justin Chu, and go through all the people, and then you say like, "All right, now let's jump into," right?
Okay. So
No,
let's.
no, no. Here's how we're gonna do the intro. Justin, you're gonna like get
You
out
should
of
just dance around naked.
get out of the frame here. We start doing that.
So we all just slide
And
into
then-
the frame.
and then you just gotta, like, just hover in and just like.
Oh, God.
All right.
He's actually doing it.
Evan's
That's
still
okay.
going.
You forgot to introduce yourself though.
Yeah, no, you fucked it up.
Redo.
Okay, we can talk about this for now. I mean, we'll leave it. We'll have it something pending. Maybe it'll tie into the name, but that's something we can think about for sure.
Okay.
All right. So first off, let's go in a counterclockwise. Oh no, sorry, it's a clockwise.
I don't know what that means.
Sorry,
We're
the
in
way
a line.
so
Sorry,
you,
it's a
right,
line.
right. Okay, guys, you guys don't know this yet, but the way I'm
Lines are
recording it
circular?
is it's Evan, and then Alex, and then Emil, and then myself.
Yay.
So we're gonna start with Evan, then go to Alex, and then go to Emil, and then myself. So Evan, go right ahead.
Now, tell me
Alright.
about yourself.
Yeah.
I'm Evan Holtrop, and I like to play games. But yeah, I love games. I've been playing them my entire life, ever since my cousin sold me his old NES. I mean, you guys can vouch. I have a fuck ton of games.
That's not true.
Yeah, not true at all. I don't know. I used to run a podcast a couple of years ago, and I just did game reviews on it and stuff. Are we also doing like favorite games and consoles and
Sure.
shit like that, or?
Yeah.
Sure. So I remember you tagged me in one of those like stupid Facebook things. It was,
I
like,
didn't get a
top 10
response.
games that- I actually spent like 3 hours just sitting there going like, oh my, I have no idea what to choose.
I think you're the only
Driving
person that had this agony.
Oh my god, it was killing me. But when so I guess I don't know what games do I love. I tend to love games that do a good job with story and writing. So I mean, probably my favorite game that's come out in the past, I don't know, 5 to 10 years is actually Spec Ops: The Line. That game,
It's a good
so
story.
so good. Amazing story. Just it forced you to do things that not many games were able to do. That not many games were willing to do, and stuff like that. Other some of my favorites. I really like Dragon Age. I really like any game like that. But those games, it's not. I guess I'm gonna get rid of what I said before, because that game, it's not really the story as much as I love the story. It's just the number crunching, right? Like I also very much enjoy games that just require a shit ton of spreadsheets and shit like that, right? So I really like Dragon Age. I really like the Persona series, any of the Shin Megami Tensei games. In terms of like what consoles and stuff I own, I have most of them. I play most of my games on PC though. Have a PS4. I definitely say that I swing more towards the Sony and PC games.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Quite an intro you got, Evan.
Yeah, man, that was like how am I supposed to follow that up, man? It's like
Oh, you really just
yeah,
gotta
I've
whip it
been
out.
playing games my whole life. Like I got this like master wall of games.
Just yell PP Master
All
Race and
right,
be done with it.
just go start off with what you like and what you play it on, and just go on from there.
All right. I got my story. Okay, so when I was a kid, right? Like I was more into sports than video games. For like one reason in particular, like I mean, everybody's like, yeah, my first system was like the SNES, the NES. That wasn't mine. My first system was like the N64. I didn't know that systems existed. You guys can like mock me all you want, but that's cool. My first game was a horrible experience. It was it was Superman 64. I don't know if anyone's ever played that. I don't know if anyone's ever played that, but it's absolutely
God! That game is the flying through the rings and shit.
it could be the worst game that's ever existed. But like I liked
arguable.
I liked superheroes, and my dad like went to Blockbuster and he rented the Superman 64 for me.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I sat down and I was like, this is gonna be the best time of my life, and it was the worst time of my life. And like I was only like what, like 5 or 6 years old, so I didn't really understand the concept that like other games could be better than this game. So I was like, well, why would I ever play a game like this horrible? Like I don't find this fun. Like I'm just gonna go play sports.
So wait, let me get this straight. Superman 64 set the standard for video games for you.
It is, yes.
Sounds like nowhere to go but up.
I didn't know that at the time. I was like, is this what everything's like? I don't get the hype, so like screw this. But then like I hit like elementary school and I started like realizing that there were other things out there, So I mean like I don't really have like favorite games. I mean, I've played the Halo franchise since the beginning. I'm sure Justin will say the exact same thing. Been posters in his room right there. Been a long time fan. But right now, like I don't own many systems. I own like a 360. I got like Wii and everything like that, but that's pretty garbage. Not a fan. Got like 3DS as well. 3DS as well. And contrary to Evan's like belief here that like I don't play like PC games, that's pretty much the majority of what I play. So I'm not sure like where he gets his info from, but like I'd like to know.
I know. No. It's just every single time that I've talked to you about games, it's always been about Xbox 360, Halo, stuff like that, right? So I made an assumption. I'm sorry.
I don't know that Xbox anymore, man. I've changed. Okay. Oh,
I'm sorry.
Emil, we appear to have lost your cam.
Emil is gone.
No, I'm good. Just
No, you're not.
Your cam? Oh, there you go.
Oh, wait, just a little flash, just.
no. I was just fixing it.
All right, cool.
It was
Makes
an
sense.
on-off switch.
But I mean, in terms of games, like I'm kind of like mixed in what I like. Like, I mean, I like story-based games. I like pretty-looking games. Like Bastion is one of my favorite. It's like
Oh,
Oh, that's a good shit.
It's pretty great. Like, I mean,
I've
pretty
yet to-
mixed. I'm not a fan of like just what I never remember the name of the. Justin, what's the type of games I don't like? I don't like them so much that I always forget.
Real-time strategy?
Yeah, that's exactly what I hate.
Oh, fuck
How
you!
could you?
Yo, I don't have the patience. I don't have the patience. Okay. I started playing Civ. I like Civ. Civ is cool.
Really?
I don't know. I just don't have the patience.
What are your feelings on MOBAs if you've ever tried them? So like League of Legends, Dota, and stuff like that.
I have never tried that. It's just like I don't know, man. I don't see the appeal. Like it's like click, and I'm like, okay, I don't.
I think you just described every video game.
Yeah, but
Casual
okay,
out
no,
here.
that is extremely click.
Good
Play
point.
Diablo? Have you ever played Diablo?
Yeah, I played Diablo.
Oh, what the? That game is the epitome of just click.
Did I say
Yeah.
I'm playing Diablo?
Good point.
Listen, man, Evan, you're gonna meet people in your life that have the same likes as you and dislikes from you. Just because I'm white, that doesn't. I mean, it's not. We don't like the same things, man.
Yeah, well, I bet you hate chocolate and bacon too. So.
Oh well, that's insulting.
Wait. Chocolate bacon or chocolate and bacon?
Either. Is there a problem with either of those sentences?
I've never had chocolate bacon.
It's probably delicious. I want to have it now. Somebody wants the chocolate bacon.
All right, we are now our end goal now is to have some like just get a box of just chocolate bacon.
I
We
will,
Make it
have-
yourself.
I will enter this podcast next week eating chocolate bacon.
Excellent. Sounds good.
That's his way of saying challenge accepted.
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
All right, Emma, you go for it.
Well, it's difficult to top that, particularly when literally Alex just said he hates RTSs. Considering that's,
Okay, now hate's a strong word. It's just not my preferred genre.
I don't know, man. I don't know if we can do this together.
I mean,
That's how I grew up.
that hurts. That
livelihood.
hurts, man. That hurts me. I mean,
That's my livelihood. Good old Command and Conquer, all of them. Like every
Aw,
single one.
yeah.
Yeah, dude, your YouTube channel logo is a GDI logo. Let's not kid ourselves here. We're in the same. We've been in the same boat, Justin.
Oh yeah, for sure.
My origin ID is a Nod logo, so I mean we're pretty much
We're
So,
nemesis.
what are they called? Frenemies.
I mean,
haven't used it
technically,
before.
by the conclusion of the universe, everybody got what they wanted.
True. Yeah. So, just like Evan, I guess I kind of grew up playing video games. I had an NES or an SNES. I don't quite know because my brother was stupid enough to put it on top of the TV and then yank the controller, and that was the end of that indestructible console.
Oh,
And then I came here and I've had an original PS2 since 2002. The big fat chunky one. It's sitting right behind me actually. Somewhere.
PS fat. PS fat.
PS
fat. PS2 fat. But yeah, so pretty much since I discovered Steam, I've been on the PC bandwagon, as you guys all know, as we all know, and we pretty much all have our own PCs here too, like built our own stuff. So I've been on that for basically ever. I don't own any of the previous gen consoles or the current next gen consoles. Just never got around to it. That being said, my guilty pleasure is still Metal Gear Solid every once in a while. Which is
There's
so-
no reason for that to be a guilty pleasure, man.
yeah,
No
really,
reason.
making it sound like that's a bad thing.
No, absolutely
You
not.
know what?
But
Guilty pleasure. I love playing one of the greatest games ever made. I'm sorry. I'm
Guys,
sorry.
don't judge me.
all right, I'll take that. The problem is I haven't played 4 or 5 or anything after 3, considering I don't have a PS3 or 4.
But I mean,
So, I
five's
mean-
not out yet though, so I mean, you're excused to
Well,
for
there's
that.
the
Ground
that
Zero.
one.
Yeah.
Ground Zero.
Ground Zero's Part 1, whatever. I've seen shit. It looks cool. I wish I could someday.
So, to be honest though, I mean, like I'm not a huge Metal Gear Solid fan. Like I don't, jump at the new game or whatever. I just enjoy them. But I do have a couple friends who are that, and actually, most of them would rate Metal Gear Solid 3 or Peace Walker as their favorite Metal Gear Solids
I
of all
agree.
time, right? So
I
I mean, you missing out on 4 and Ground Zero.
All right, fair. I did play 1, 2, and 3, and the improvements there just blew me out of the water. Back then, I played it then. I've played it last year, and even with the dated graphics, I was just like, this is me. I love this right here. This is peace. Sorry, let me shut my phone up. As for I mentioned Command and Conquer still going strong. Considering I reinstalled Generals the other day again, I can. Okay. Can I say that's my guilty pleasure? I
No,
cannot
I
get
mean,
enough of.
Command and Conquer is still, even a damaged brand. It's still.
You need an actual
know.
guilty
See-
pleasure, man.
I don't
Guilty
think I don't.
pleasure-
You keep using that
guilty
word. I don't think you know what it means.
But like when you talk to younger people, they don't know what Command and Conquer is. They don't know what Westwood is. They don't
Yeah,
start.
but I mean, okay, so a guilty pleasure would be like, oh yeah, I like to just curl up with a nice tub of ice cream and watch Sex in the City for
Yeah,
days on
exactly.
end.
I do not.
Like-
Wait, is that grabbing on personal experience or using that as an example?
I'm gonna plead the fifth here.
Nice. That's fair. And beyond this whole, okay, fine. Neither of those two are guilty pleasures. They're both very well-known series. They both have their roots set, and I am happy to say that I indulge in both of these pleasures frequently.
There you go. There you go.
As
There you
for
go.
beyond,
Or you know what? A better guilty pleasure would be something like World of Warcraft, right? It's
Nope.
just like, yeah,
nope,
yeah,
stay far,
but
far
then-
away from that.
Yeah.
Stay as far away as possible. Never touched it. Don't plan to.
but it's so good. It's so good. Anyways.
It's just a little,
Yeah,
a couple
yeah.
of hits here and there.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And something I like showing off every once in a while, my second love, if I can. There we go. That's my baby right there.
That's a beauty.
Yep.
It's like gold,
I have
it's like
a-
gold plated.
What's that?
That gold plated?
No, it's ivory colored.
Oh.
Drums are not made of
Paint.
gold.
Ah, well, I mean, you know.
No, that's my baby. That's me.
I don't
Beyond
know.
male when it comes to just
You
games.
you look real proud of her.
I am. That's
Actually-
pretty much. That's the only other thing I've bought 100% with my own money, other than this computer, obviously.
That's actually something that I've always loved, but my parents would never actually buy me a drum kit or whatever when I was little, and we had no room in the house for one. So I did everything that I possibly could to play drums. So I was like percussion in the school band and
Me
stuff
too.
like that.
Oh.
I would just I had a friend that I would go over to his house and just like sit on his drums for hours on end. I love
Nice.
playing drums, but I've never had the room or means to buy them.
Still don't?
Wait, hello?
I talked about Command and Conquer, which is what I wanted to get across, and I guess Metal Gear. Hey.
All right, well then I guess we'll just jump into
Move
Justin.
on to Justin.
All right.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Whatever.
Was there
All
more
right.
that you wanted to say?
No.
If there's more you
Nice.
just want to say.
What's that?
I mean, if there's more you want to say, I'm more than happy to hear your what you have to say.
No, not really. It's all good. We were just talking about not Warcraft, like avoiding World of Warcraft like the plague
Makes
and
sense.
stuff. But that was all after you left. It wasn't about me. It was more so just living.
The actual definition of guilty pleasures.
Yes, exactly. That's what happened.
Look at the meeple. The meeple.
The what?
Meeple.
I don't even.
Meeple.
Sorry, it took me a second. Cool.
Meeple. Yeah. Okay.
All right, so I guess I'll just jump right in then. So my name is Justin, and I've probably been gaming. I don't even know for how long now. I was put in front of a computer when I was 5, and without giving any instruction, my parents were like, "Here, have fun with it." Start tinkering with stuff, as a 5-year-old would do. Start slamming keys and stuff. Eventually, I found myself playing Command and Conquer. I don't know how the two correlated, but it just ended up happening. I eventually stuck mostly with PC gaming. Occasionally, I kind of geared off from that to GameCube. I remember mostly playing Metroid Prime. That was definitely something I really enjoyed. Double Dash.
Stuff.
Double Dash was a lot of party fun. Eventually traded all of my GameCube games and stuff, and went to a 360. Was really convinced by Halo, and as you can see, I'm still pretty convinced, and I still have hope for.
Fanboy.
I'm a pretty big Halo fanboy. I know a lot of the expanded universe, so
Nice.
I wouldn't say like I knew the Arbiter's name like by the top of my head, but I could recognize it. There's also, as you can see here, I don't know if you can see it. Oh, it's not shot. Never mind. I also have a model of the SSV Normandy, so I'm a pretty big fan of.
It's
It's right there. It's right there.
I see it. I'm pointing.
Everybody point.
There we go.
Whoa! That actually.
I see a
whoa.
Master Chief helmet.
Ah, yes, that's true. It's also
You
Master
should
Chief
put that on.
helmet.
Yeah,
I
put that
actually
on.
can't wear it. I can't wear it.
Now you can.
I wish I.
You
No,
have
it's
to
like
leave.
it's a small slit. It's like so the helmet's like this big, but then like only this much of it is inside, and that's how much like there's like a little stick in the middle that holds into the middle.
Yeah, it's not
can't-
hollowed out.
It's not hollowed out. I can't fit my head in there.
It actually has Master Chief's head in it.
Oh,
Essentially.
it just means you're not the target demographic, Justin.
Apparently not. I'm too big. Yeah. Oh, and in case people are wondering if I'm pure console or not, I'm not, because
Good man.
I've been playing on my laptop for 4 years now. My laptop is a decent Asus gaming laptop. I've played well, the first thing I ever played is Crisis, because when the first game you ever get or the first laptop you ever get, sorry, you want to see how good it is. You always play Crisis. That makes sense. Throughout there, I've accumulated a 270 Steam library. I'm sure Evan can beat me in that one. And now I am impatiently waiting for Perlator to deliver all the parts I require for my PC.
Whoop.
Yeah, which I'm thinking should be here by tomorrow, but if it's not, phone calls will be made.
Ha.
Oh
Angry
man.
ones?
Angry phone calls will be made.
Nah, happy ones.
No, those are after they arrive.
After they arrive, if they ever arrive.
True.
Okay.
Alright.
So now that we have roughly an idea of what everyone's like, what everyone likes, I guess I think we should move on to something. I guess one of the topics that Evan posted.
Alright,
I thought we were. Are we doing that now, or are we saving those for next time?
We can always just pick one.
Oh, what's one of the ones? Well, you know what? It actually might be a good one. Do you guys just want to talk? Because about. No, we could.
What's up?
What's a good one?
I don't know. What's a good one? Do you guys want to do? Like monetization schemes?
Oh yeah. I actually did a presentation on that a couple of years back in class.
Oh yeah. All right. Well,
Not that I remember shit, but I did.
Monetization schemes? I'm totally down for that.
all right. So why don't we jump into that? So the idea that I had behind that was just kind of how monetization in games is kind of going crazy recently, right? Where 10 years ago, every game you bought was a 60 or whatever dollar purchase over a counter. You get handed a disc. With the PC, maybe there was DLC later. But now we're starting to see a lot of free-to-play games with microtransactions. For example, one of the most popular games right now, League of Legends, is exactly that, right? The game is completely free-to-play whenever you want. You just got to buy characters and stuff like that. That's how they make their revenue. Or even you get games where EA gets a lot of flack for this, where a lot of people would argue that EA releases half-finished games and then they constantly come out with DLC, right? I don't necessarily think that. That's just another route that companies are going, right? Where you just release pieces of games and constantly keep charging smaller amounts for these games, right? So what are you guys' thoughts on that? Do you think that free to play is a good scheme and that it has a lot of potential? Do you think it's bad for games in general? I think it's definitely dangerous because you get, if you look on mobile especially, the free to play scheme has gone just absolutely balls fucking crazy. Like Candy Crush Sagas, I mean it's popular, but I'm not going to say that game is good or that because that game is just kind of proof of what could go wrong with this free to play, and you have to buy time and stuff like that.
I think
Right.
if just to kind of add on to what you're saying, the new Command and Conquer that was in alpha was pretty good evidence of many people not being pleased with the whole free to play, but you can buy things to kind of add on to your experience. So that was basically what their whole premise was. The entire Command and Conquer was going to be completely free. Oh, looks like we just lost Alex.
Boo.
Boo. Boo.
Well, keep going. He'll come back.
Yeah.
I'm glad you went into the whole Command and Conquer thing, though. Those were my thoughts too. Do go on, though.
Yeah. So it's so basically it's basically free to play, and their idea was that different factions, different other maps, more or less would be DLC add-ons. And to me at first I thought this was pretty appealing because the thing is that if I wanted a Command and Conquer experience, I would say, for instance, if I wanted a Tiberian Sun experience or anything within the Tiberian universe, I would have to go play Tiberian Sun, Tiberian Wars, different games. It's a completely different game. Oh, welcome back.
You're muted.
Yeah,
Man,
he's
everything
muted.
everything just froze. I don't understand.
Yeah, that happened to me too. That's what happens when
Like
there's internet
everything was just
connections.
frozen. What the hell?
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, like I was saying, so basically we were just talking about the Command and Conquer, basically how they decided to go free to play, but then a lot of things you can buy different factions, different maps and stuff to kind of
Yeah.
add on to the experience. Eventually, the project closed, and literally the blog, that if you read it, it actually says we are clearly not making the game that you guys want,
Oh, yeah.
because a lot of people were not pleased with the fact that Command and Conquer Generals, or Command and Conquer, whatever they decided to call it, went into the direction of free to play with the addition of different teams, different factions, and all that such. And to me, it sounded like a pretty cool experience, because the plans that they had in mind were, if we're gonna make a Command and Conquer game, and if you wanted a certain campaign experience, it'll be a DLC. And to me, that's
Yeah.
it seems to make more sense in that case, where I pay $15-$20 to play like a Tiberian universe campaign, and then maybe $15 or $20 for like a Red Alert campaign, and then maybe $15-$20 from like a streamlined Command and Conquer, maybe even older school, or maybe they even create a new universe. I don't know, but it kind of made sense. But there were obviously some concerns, like traditionally in a lot of Command and Conquer games, each faction kind of like, say like GDI and Nod, they kind of like counter each other. One's better early game, one's better later game. And then that, I guess, that comes with the issue of, I guess, when different factions from different universes have different strengths and weaknesses. And I guess that's probably what probably confused a lot of people, saying like, oh, why would it make any sense that the GDA was fighting the allies from Red Alert or whatever? It just, there's a lot of like universe clashing and stuff like that. So I guess that's one.
But yeah, that would still be fun though, right? Because I mean, like, as
Yeah,
much
for
as,
sure.
I mean, Command and Conquer. I've never been a huge Command and Conquer player. I think I played like one of them. But I mean, Command and Conquer's never necessarily been all that, from what I understand, like true to its roots. No, that's the wrong way of saying that. But I mean, it's always been a little bit wacky, crazy. I mean, you get the Red Alert games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily basing anything in reality.
Oh, definitely not. Definitely
all.
not. No.
Still a game.
I mean, I think it's easily a game where they could come up with some crazy like bullshit thing, like, oh yeah, like Hitler was bitten by some, poison thing that made him go crazy, and he built a teleport device that meshed the dimension. Like, that'd be fine. Like, that would be total. People would buy it. It'd be
Yeah.
fine. And I think that I do think that that's a missed opportunity. One thing that interests me a lot about that is there's a new game design idea that's been happening recently. I don't know if you guys saw the MMO Firefall.
Mhm.
Sounds
So
familiar.
what that game's doing is it's a third-person MMO, but the game is actually releasing with only like something stupid like 10 or 20. I'm making these numbers up in my head. A very, very small portion of the game is available to people on release day, right? And then what happens is, as players do quests and complete things, more of the world opens up to everybody in the game, right? So if there's this mist or something that's attacking the world, and if you go and fight back the mist, then everybody might gain access to a new city or something, right?
Oh, that's Firefall. Okay,
Yep.
Yeah,
someone told me what the name of the game. It's always like, I never know. I'm always interested in playing that game. I just kept forgetting what the name was.
And it's a really interesting but very dangerous game decision for a developer to make, because I mean, these developers have spent shit tons of time doing all this stuff, right? And then to only release, I mean, a very, very small portion of the content that they've actually developed over this time. I mean, that's pretty scary, right? Because I mean, generally when you look at how games are announced and stuff like that, I mean, like, you look at GTA or whatever, and it's like, like 500,000 square kilometers, it takes you 5 hours to walk across it, like, oh, this is packed with content, this game's awesome, right? And then you get this game where it's like, oh yeah, there's a lot of content, but you have to work for it, right? And I think that's what might have scared people away from that Command and Conquer, which I mean, working for it and paying for it is definitely different, but I think there was a lot of potential with that. But granted, I'm not a Command and Conquer guy, but to me, as just a gamer, that interests me. I would have been interested in that, because then I pay for the content that I like. Maybe there were some missions that were a certain style, and I could buy those ones and not buy the ones that I think are shit, right? And I don't see some. There's nothing wrong with that necessarily.
I think the issue is more so that when someone says free to play, it's like almost so much negative connotations are associated with that it just drives people away. And I mean, the new Command and Conquer, it meant well for the most part. I mean, I got into the alpha and I was playing it, and granted there were a lot of glitches and bugs here and there, but I was excited to see how it would evolve. And I think it's just that generally in our society nowadays, if someone hears, "Oh, this game's free to play," it's like, yeah, I'm skeptical. I mean, like, take the Old Republic for instance. Like, usually when
that's different because they went free to play because nobody was playing their game.
But I mean, like, it's
like they went free to play to get players.
But I mean, has it increased though? I mean, it doesn't seem like
they definitely saw a spike. Like when it went free to play, they saw a big spike. The problem, I mean, Old Republic is definitely a good example of how not to do free to play, right?
Yeah.
Because they have free to play, but when you play that game free to play, you get like a third of the content that the people who are subscribing get to play, right? Like it even, I mean, has anybody here played a MMO at all, really? I mean, when you get to end game, you have all these crazy gear and stuff like that, right? The Old Republic even went as far to be like, oh yeah, by the way, if you're not subscribing, you can only equip level 60 items for 5 days, and then you have to unequip them for like 3 days, right? It's like, what? Like, seriously? So I have to pay to use my items? Like it's
so
they went way too far in the wrong direction.
I did not know that. That's a massive turnoff.
Here, I'll show you guys the link. Hey.
So if you have Emil or Alex, have you guys ever played anything that's free to play and your experiences with that?
Sure. Unless Alex wants to talk.
You can go right ahead.
Sure. Anyone remember Ragnarok?
Yeah.
Right in the childhood.
Yep.
That was a while ago.
That was indeed a while ago. So no, obviously not the official servers, but my entire basically high school years were spent leading a guild and then eventually playing a mod on a server in one of the bigger Ragnarok Online private servers, and that's technically free to play, right? And then eventually they include donations and a cash shop and all that shit. It goes from great to to unpleasant when the admins eventually decide they don't want to. But that was, I'd say, my biggest, but not necessarily the most, I guess, intensive experience with free to play. I'd say since that's such an unregulated environment, you guys all know what I'm talking about.
I just posted the features for the Star Wars Online. Sorry to cut you off.
Oh, no worries.
It's pretty bad.
Oh yeah, yep. Seen this. A friend of mine showed this to me earlier.
It's so bad.
Oh gosh.
like they went as far to like you can't join guilds if you're free to play.
I think what they were trying to do with this was that they were trying to open it up to other people. Like they were supposed to be the next WoW killer, if that's what you want to. That's what everyone was calling it. Once upon a time, obviously it didn't happen.
Well, honestly, it did have a really good chance. I mean, I played 5 years of WoW. I've got a ton of max level characters. I recently picked it up again, actually, which was a big mistake. But I mean, this game was awesome. And in terms of, I do a lot of solo play when I play MMOs. And this game was actually one of the most enjoyable solo plays because it had a very, very good story, and I'm also a massive Star Wars nerd, like huge Star Wars nerd.
I think you can thank BioWare for that, for the actual story content. They've never skimped out on that.
Oh, it's true, and I mean, just one of I guess I didn't mention this earlier, but probably one of my favorite game ever made. This is also a big nostalgia thing. Is Knights of the Old Republic, right? I've got, I think, like 400 hours in the first game. It's stupid.
That's pretty impressive.
I just love that game. And in terms of playing Knights of the Old Republic, Knights of the Old Republic 2, reading the Darth Revan book, and then moving on to the MMO, it was this massive, amazing epic that BioWare had created.
Wait.
And they all connect. Every single one of those things connect, right? Because the book Revan is kind of like the origin story for the Emperor, who plays in the Old Republic, right? And one of the classes that you play as, the final boss is the Emperor, right? So like it's a huge epic, and it all starts with Knights of the Old Republic 1 and ends with Star Wars: The Old Republic, and I loved it. I was sold. It was amazing. Or just even like being the main character in one of the main characters in the book is Lord Scourge, and he trains you, and just that fact made me nerd the fuck out when I was playing it. It just made me love it so much more.
Let me
Anyways,
just
I'm sorry.
clarify something. So, story content for this Star Wars: The Old Republic is completely free, is it not?
Yes, it is. So you can
Okay.
go from start to finish for free all you want, but you can also only have like one character,
That
right?
I
And
know,
all
yeah.
of the stuff is different for each class.
I
So
think,
I mean, you can go all the way through and then like delete your character and go all the way through again.
yeah.
Oh, I've been so misled. I actually thought like they went free to play completely. But I guess in
No,
a sense
no.
they did, but they wanted to encourage people to still use subscription.
Well, they still need to make money, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. Just if it was a subscription based and they're keeping said subscription based. For example, think of DC Universe Online, same thing, just on a less large scale. I only found out about it a couple of weeks ago. I was like, oh, cool, they went free to play. And I've been on a huge DC kick lately with like Injustice, the Arrow TV show, Gotham coming up, rewatching all the Dark Knight movies. I'm a huge DC fan. Well, just comics in general, I guess.
Yeah.
But like, so I'd rediscovered DC Universe Online, never played it. But I was like, okay, so this is pretty cool. It's free to play now. And then I look at what actually that includes, and it's pretty much the same thing as what you just mentioned. That Star Wars: The Old Republic page. Sony Online Entertainment has a page that's very similar to that. Free, one-time purchase, subscription purchase. So it's
Yeah.
kind of the same thing. And I was like, that sucks. But the difference is Star Wars: The Old Republic did one thing right. They had a strong story. DC Universe Online can't even promise that.
Yeah, it's I tried to play that game a couple times, and like I also really love comics, and my one friend plays it a lot.
DC
And
Universe?
yeah, he plays all the time, and he's just like, man, you know what, you know why I play this game? Because I get to run through like the Fortress of Solitude with a bunch of friends and fight alongside Superman. I'm like, you know what, that does sound really badass. Like just that nerding out factor, being like, "Fuck, there's Superman right there, and I have his back," and I'm like, "Yeah."
As
Right.
as much as I agree with that, that's what I've got Injustice: Gods Among Us for.
Exactly. Right. Yeah.
It's rendered better. You can actually play as Superman. Fuck playing next to him. You get to play as him.
It's still, you know what I mean, though, right? Like, it's
Yeah,
just
I do.
that nerding out factor is definitely something.
Absolutely.
I mean, like that's
And that's-
why I played the Old Republic.
And
right?
that's why Star Wars: The Old Republic went so well for you, which is
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I was getting to. Like, if it's free and it has story content, I think that's the part they did right. The rest of it, though, I wouldn't agree with it as much.
Mhm.
Leading into that point, something that I do agree did free to play well, if not the absolute best, would be TF2.
Yeah.
Like, you can't get better than that when it comes free to
Yeah.
play.
I honestly
Exactly
don't
what I was
understand. Like, yeah, I was gonna say like I don't understand how they're making any money off of that.
They're making a lot, like way too
So-
much, obscene amounts.
Is it just hats? Are
Yeah.
people like going out of their way to buy hats? Like
Yes.
I don't understand. Like I've
Same-
seen
it's the exact same thing in Dota as well. But I mean,
Yeah,
Valve is just one of those magic companies that.
everything
Like-
goes right for them.
Yeah, it's like, okay, we're going to do this weird thing that nobody's ever thought of, and it sounds like
cash.
the dumbest thing possible.
throw
It's like,
cash.
we're literally gonna print money making virtual hats. That's what we're going to do. And it's like, no, Gabe, you're fucking high. Like, what are you doing? And then it's like, oh my god, it worked. What the hell? So they're just one of those companies that can do whatever the hell they want, and they still just make it work. I mean, like
Pretty much.
any other company that would have waited this long to release the third episode of an episodic game would have
Yeah.
been like burned at the
Fun.
stake at this point, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
But Valve is like, yeah, we're fine. We'll just.
And yet they've got all these other projects coming along, and just they've got the entire Steam thing going along, and they're fine. The difference is TF2 did have one thing going for it. It was way back when TFC and the Source box or whatever the heck it was called. I think the green box, which came with Half-Life 1, Blue Shift.
the orange
and
box.
Force.
Orange
No,
box.
no. The Team Fortress Classic, not Team Fortress 2.
Oh, okay. Yep.
That was the green box, I think, right? That was my first kind of run-in with Half-Life and Source and Valve as a whole. And I saw Team Fortress Classic, and I saw that it had a huge online player base, like on par with Counter-Strike 1.6 at the time. And I guess that just kind of was there when they made TF2 available with the orange box, as you said. And that got them the groundwork that they needed, considering there's still people who play TF2 now that did 8 years ago when it came out. holy fuck, the game is 8 years old.
Yeah.
But like, it's completely free to play now. Those people are way in over their heads, yet they're still enjoying it like the way they did it back then. And they haven't even released that much more new content. It's just, you're right, it's partially the whole magical Valve company, but they built their player base over the past, 11, 12, 13 years. Yeah. So it's just, they see Valve title, TF2, big multiplayer title, we want this. Mm-hmm. And then they make it free to play. They basically remove all barrier of entry. It runs on every machine ever. Like, my buddy's GT610 can run it on medium settings.
Yeah.
It's an old game, right?
Possible,
so
yeah.
It's just, you make it accessible, and you kind of, I guess, you having that huge fan base or player base does work if you're a big company. So I think that's what kind of made them succeed, which is why now Dota 2, oh yeah, it's free to play. Here, have stuff, buy it, and they're two biggest cash cows in it.
And I mean, there's also a bit of me, because I mean, I play a lot of Dota as well. I've got something like 1,200 hours in it.
Oh,
Jesus!
But because I got to like the 1,100 hour point, and I realized like I have not given Valve any money for this game. So I literally just went, all right, you know what? I'm just gonna take like $60 and buy shit, just because part of me was just like I feel bad.
Actually, just to add on to your point,
money, just to be like, I have money. Thank you for making this game.
Just to add on to your point, actually, I felt the exact same thing when I was playing League of Legends back 2-3 years ago. When I played it quite a bit. I'd say on average probably about 4 or 5 hours a day.
Whoa!
Back a long time ago, though. That if I say that now, it's a guilty pleasure. So I remember actually playing, you know, I had like a few favorite characters and I wanted different skins, and I was just saying, like, I was just standing in the Best Buy cashier and I just saw like riot points just hanging there, and I'm just like, I played this game so much, you know, and I feel really bad that I've contributed nothing to it. So I literally just picked up a riot card and just bought some skins, and you know, it's
nice.
just it's almost to the point that it's, you know, it's almost like a donation system.
Yeah.
And it seems to be, and it just seems to be working for these companies, and I'm surprised it is, because like when I don't know, have you guys ever played Guild Wars 2?
No.
Yes,
I know about it, but I haven't played it.
So I'm gonna need some information from that, because as far as I'm aware, you're only being charged for just the game, and that's it.
you purchase the game for $60. I don't know how much it is now, and then it's free to pay forever.
Yep.
I'm confused. Like,
well, I mean, so they also have microtransactions, which is so you can go in and you can purchase only specifically cosmetic items, right? And a lot of people do that as well, right? I think a big key to Guild Wars' success is they do not have any pay-to-win stuff, right? So you can't buy any like overpowered things. You can buy like experience boosters, but who cares about that? I mean, you level up faster, whatever. But yeah, so that's literally their only way of making money, is they charge you once for the game, and then if you want, you can buy extra things.
So it's basically just like League of Legends, then, if I'm correct, yeah.
Yeah. Well, except League of Legends is completely free.
Well, I mean, but they don't have any like pay to win items. Is what I'm saying.
So to be fair with that, personally, I play a lot of MMOs. I really do enjoy that medium. I'm super excited for WildStar. I'm actually downloading it right now. But for me, I enjoy it when there's a initial fee, or I actually prefer when games have subscriptions, right? Because I mean, one problem with League of Legends that I found when I played it was the community is a piece of shit.
Absolutely.
Right? I don't know if
it's why it stopped.
No, but I think a good part of that is because the game is free, right? So I mean, somebody can just constantly keep making accounts, or you get a lot of people who just want to jump in, try this game out, get frustrated, get mad, and leave, right? The second you put a subscription fee, or the second you put a dollar purchase on a game, you're now only going to get people who are actually interested in playing that game, right?
Yeah.
So, for example, everybody was pissed off when Elder Scrolls Online got a subscription. I'm like, oh wait, no, fuck yeah, like, yeah, good job, yeah, get all those whiny bitches out of my game. Like, only hardcore players here, right? And I mean, that's actually why I started playing Final Fantasy 14 over Star Wars, right? Because I was playing Star Wars quite a bit, but I actually got annoyed because there was a lot of that free-to-play stuff that I was talking about, and I jump into Final Fantasy 14. And it really does jump to, you know, a majority of the people there are only there to enjoy the game and to play it. And I mean, they're paying for it, so they're gonna do their best to get their money's worth, right?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, neither did I. I just thought the easier the barrier to entry, the more players there'll be, therefore the happier the company will be. But no, you're absolutely right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
The difference is basically just since all these bigger companies are already so vested in their games, let's say Blizzard, EA, Activision, whatever other big companies there are right now, they have their paid titles. Hi, Justin's mom.
Yep.
Justin's mom.
Yeah, so these guys are good, but then you've got smaller companies. For example, Firefall with what are they? Red 5, I think.
yeah.
Whoever made them, yeah. That, for example, if it was, I don't know where they're getting their funding from. I don't know what. Wait, what am I saying? Red 5 is mostly ex-Blizzard, isn't it?
Wait, who is,
I
sorry?
think so. I
think
used
so.
to
Okay.
know this a lot, and then I kind of stopped caring about that
Okay,
game.
fair. Never mind. Bad example. I'm trying to say, like, smaller studios generally are able to pump out better games if their first couple of titles are free to play and do well. Obviously, it's a risk they're willing to take, but you get a lower barrier to entry, you get more people playing your game, word of mouth, it spreads, more people buy shit. Whereas if you're a company you've never heard of selling a game for $30, $60, whatever, less than half the people buy it, and you're like, well, shit, it didn't sell as well as we hoped. We don't have jobs anymore.
Yeah, it's definitely true. I mean, there's definitely pros and cons to both, but I definitely, I mean, another question to ask is, is the brick and mortar, $60 purchase of a disc-based game, is that dying, right? Like, do you guys still think that we'll have that in 5 years? I definitely don't think we'll have brick and mortar stores. I mean, like, you might find games in Best Buy still.
Not.
Well,
But I
Best
mean,
Buy's closing down. Most of their brick and mortar stores in the U.S. are already going down.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if anything is going to be alive, I think Best Buy will be alive far, far more than like EB Games or something, right?
Fair enough.
Like, I think
EB
EB
Games,
Games,
whatever.
they're fucked, right?
Actually, like, just to add on to your point, I actually feel like, I don't know if it's just the Canadian economy or whatever, but games are now going for 70.
Really?
Yeah, that's
Oh, you're right.
That's just companies being like, I mean, I don't know
Suck
for
more money out of
sure.
them.
Yeah, but they're also, I mean, games are getting more expensive. I mean,
Speaking of that,
Destiny's-
yeah,
Destiny's $500 million.
I don't
Painful,
understand.
yeah.
I honestly don't understand.
But
I mean, so to be honest, companies generally pad a lot of their. This is how much this game cost, because I mean, development for that game was probably far less than 500 million.
Yeah.
But the second you throw on like marketing and all that shit, it just skyrockets the price because
But
you gotta
take
pay
it
for,
to
like TV time and shit.
but in comparison to something that was actually successful, say GTA 5, their budget was only about 260 to 280 million dollars. So what is
Including
Bungie doing?
everything.
Yeah, that's including everything. So what is Bungie doing differently that requires practically double the amount? Like, I definitely don't see double of whatever GTA 5 is giving me. That's for sure. But I mean, like,
it's hard to say, right? Like, I mean,
yeah, fair enough.
For a big thing as well, Bungie probably has the money to burn as well, right? Like they're Halo.
They're
I don't know,
they're
though.
just swimming
They
in
might-
cash.
They might just be a little bit more free with their money. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you want to talk about huge, I mean, let's go back to Star Wars, right? Like that game.
True.
That game, all of their money went into voice acting, right? Because they voice acted the entire game, right? So all of it went there, and I mean, that's a game turned in. I mean, we already talked about it, but money spent on games, it's hard to see it sometimes. It really is.
True. At least until it's finished, and then you get to actually see it in the flesh.
Yeah, and I mean, also, Destiny's been in development for so long, right? Very long development time.
That's true.
And it's also a next-gen game, so that might also increase cost. But apparently, according to Sony, the new way for developing is supposed to decrease cost. But
Yeah.
um,
The x86
Probably money on
architecture,
servers or whatever.
yeah.
Not fair.
I don't know. It's hard to say, right? Like what a company does with their money. I mean, who knows? The CEOs could also just be like putting it in their pocket and be like, "Oh yeah, we spent that on the game, not that new car I have."
Total coincidence. I just happened to buy it.
Yeah.
Xbox Ones and PS4s for everybody to beta test Destiny. Yay!
Hey, technically that is a pretty decent business expense.
It is, but it's also really pricey.
I know.
And then I mean, you also get then that also brings up another question, like indie games. I mean, you get these games that are being developed for a lot less money. I mean, granted, these people developing indie games are generally like starving themselves and shit. But I mean, these games are inexpensive to make, inexpensive to purchase on the customer side, and in some cases, like Bastion and like Super Meat Boy or something, are better than most AAA games.
Yeah, Alex, go for it.
I was just saying, like I totally agree that. I mean, like I think the Steam Greenlight, like I really like Steam Greenlight now, like how it really gives indie developers a better chance than they had in the past to kind of get their game out there, right? Like I can go and like browse a bunch of Greenlight games and see what I'm interested in, vote on it, and then it comes onto the Steam store, and all of a sudden I can buy it. Like it's excellent. Whereas like before, the only way I would hear about an indie game is like from word of mouth or something like that. Like my friend would be like, "Hey, have you ever seen this?" And I'd be like, "Whoa, this is cool. Why don't I know about this? Why doesn't anyone know about this?" Right?
Yeah.
Although that is creating another problem that I've been having with games recently, in that there's just this massive flood of indie games now. Right?
Oh yeah, I know.
It's just
for me especially, it's the indie game, like the puzzle platformers. I don't know if that genre is everywhere now. Like everybody's doing it, and I don't know.
Well, to be fair, speaking as a I guess game development student, I didn't really do game dev, just a bit here and there. Puzzle platformers are the absolute easiest thing to make, particularly if they're like 2D with minor 3D stuff. They're a joke compared to everything else. You just use whatever engine you got available and just throw it at your game. It works. So you see them a dime a dozen, and that's why they're dirt cheap as well.
Yeah.
Whereas then you see things like I don't know if you guys have seen Vanish, the RTS town building game just came out.
Yep.
$20 on Steam. It's one developer, did all the art, all the music, everything over a period of 3 years, and that thing I've found to be an absolutely beautiful game. But you don't see that every day just because it's costly to develop, and you don't know if it'll pay off.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, 3 years, Justin, all one guy. And it looks absolutely gorgeous, but that's not where the discussion's heading, obviously.
But I mean, another thing that I've found is happening to me a lot is because of all this like Steam Greenlight, Kickstarter, Indiegogo funded games. I don't know about you guys, I am so fucking tired of early access. Like,
oh yeah, it's garbage.
Give me your finished game and I'll play it, but stop trying to give me like, oh yeah, play the alpha, play the beta. It's like, no, just because I find that, especially for something like this happened to me with Starbound.
Yeah, I was just about to say Starbound.
Oh yeah.
Like, I played the shit out of that game, and then all of a sudden, my character gets wiped.
Yeah, we're gonna wipe your character. Oh,
and then
okay, well.
I lose complete interest in a game that could have, sucked so. I mean, I guess it's good that it didn't suck so much time for me. But I mean, I would have loved that game so much, but because it was early access, I got annoyed. I'm just like, all right, I won't play this game until it's finished, right?
Is it still being developed even?
Yeah, I mean, if it's anything like Terraria, it's not going to be finished for another 3 fucking years.
They'll just keep adding things.
Yeah.
I saw one thing earlier today. I think it might have been on Reddit. I don't quite remember. We've all seen Towns, right? It's on the Steam front page all the fucking time.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like a 2.5D Minecraft. I don't know. They abandoned development. It was still in alpha. They abandoned development. They did a press release earlier today saying that it didn't sell enough. The game sold 200,000 fucking units.
Before release.
Yeah, it's in early access right now, and they were selling it for I think 15, 16 on Steam, I don't know, and it sold 200,000. They said it didn't sell enough, therefore they're abandoning development. So I don't know, take from that what you will.
That's pretty garbage.
I mean that just sounds. Oh,
What's
sorry.
that? Sorry.
I was gonna say that just reminds me of BioShock Infinite. Like,
what about it?
The game was like fantastic, but the problem is it was in development for so long that 2K looked at it and it was just like, you guys took way too long.
Well, that's management for you.
I know, and it was also like, you guys honestly didn't sell enough. I mean, like, they had to sell a lot, and the game did really well. But of course, for how long it's been in development for, Irrational couldn't create an experience that was like everyone got it. But I mean, still a decent amount of people got it, and it still made a decent amount of money. But
there's been quite a few games like that recently, like the newest Tomb Raider and Sleeping Dogs. Like, those two games, so good. Like, Tomb Raiders.
My heart breaks for those games.
And especially Sleeping Dogs was like, oh my god, like, new IP. We're not seeing many of those. So exciting, great game. Both considered a financial failure.
Really?
Right?
Wait.
Yeah, they did nowhere near sold enough. Right? Like, they did not make back their money at all. And it's just like, shit. Like,
I did not know that. That is news to me. Holy shit. I thought
I
Sleeping
think
Dogs was getting a sequel.
it is,
I love
but I
Sleeping
mean,
Dogs.
here I'll try and find the numbers.
Wow, that was probably the best game I played in 2013.
I agree.
Yeah, so Sleeping Dogs, Hitman, and Tomb Raider all failed Square Enix.
Well, I mean,
Sleeping-
okay,
so,
Hitman.
Sleeping Dogs sold an estimated 1.75 million copies. Tomb Raider 3.4,
That's
Hitman 3.6, and Square Enix blames these slow sales.
Wait,
Right,
Hitman
for-
sold more than Sleeping Dogs?
Yeah,
Oh,
seriously.
yeah, it's a
What?
right.
What?
And I mean, like, you get stuff where apparently Dead Space 3 needed 5 million sales to survive.
Well,
Right,
fuck
5
that.
million sales for it to be a success. Right, eh, like this
Considering-
$60 game ideas is dying because games are too expensive, and it just like 1.75 million sales, and it's a failure.
You're
Yeah.
also forgetting how EA butchered Dead Space 3. Yeah, we'll sell it for 60, maybe 70 for the digital deluxe, and then we'll add in a cash shop for an offline game. I was like,
Yeah.
what?
And Dead Space, as far as I'm concerned, is gearing very far away from its dominantly horror genre, as far as
Yep.
I'm aware.
Dead Space 3 is basically a third-person arcade shooter.
I still enjoyed it though. It was
Okay, fair.
fun. Yeah, as much as yes, it wasn't what it originally was. Like it was still a fun game.
Yeah.
Right. If I were to take somebody who had never played a Dead Space game before and just sat them down in front of them and was like, "Hey, it's a third-person shooter where you shoot zombies," they're like, "Okay, cool. It'd be fun. It would be fun. It would be right."
That's fair, yeah. But then you can't really compare the diehard fans to whatever the fuck else, really, right? So I guess I get that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, guys,
That's-
so I think it's about time to wrap things up.
All right. Cool. Cool.
So how do you think we should end these?
I don't know. You're the host.
Yeah, man, you're the host, man. Go
Alright.
with do an outro.
Okay, I'll figure something out. But I mean, like
On the
as a
bed.
trial run though, I
I was
think
just about to say that.
Sorry, go.
Don't be sorry.
sliding away. But no, like. But I think like as the first time though, I think that went pretty well. It was pretty smooth. I didn't notice anything. Just I don't know. What do you guys think we could work on?
I don't know. I think once we got into the conversation, it was definitely there. If we can keep topics up and stuff like that.
Yeah, as long as we have like pre-planned topics and everybody like kind of has, day to prepare or something, or think about
Oh, yeah,
what they
for
want
sure.
to say about the topic. Then...
Okay.
How do you get people's interest in something like this? You can't just talk for an hour and a half and expect to put it on YouTube, though, right? I mean, maybe if there's like some gameplay in the background or some shit.
That's another thing that I was gonna ask. Like, I know you do your own Twitch streaming and stuff, but
Yeah.
I mean, we could definitely do like 4-player shit, right?
Yeah, there's a bunch of games that we could play that are like.
Diablo.
Yeah, Diablo. We could do a Borderlands thing. We could.
Ooh. I didn't
we
expect
could
to get
even
back into Borderlands.
So we
we
would
could even do just like some stupid indie games, right? Where like Castle Crashers just fucking.
Yeah.
like to
Castle
review
Crashers is
games
really
or to play games.
No, play games, and one person records them and sends them to you, and then we have a little square in the bottom where we're talking
Yeah.
about
Oh.
shit.
Has anyone played Broforce?
I've seen it. I've seen it.
Okay. Well, anyways, I gotta head out. I gotta handle some stuff here, but well, we'll figure. Oh,
You handle that stuff.
yeah, I'll handle that stuff. But we can figure out some intros and outros and how we want to float things out. But I mean, just as a casual talking thing, it seems like it's working really well. So we just have to figure out.
One thing that was good too is how I enjoyed how we were able to jump from topic to topic fairly
Yeah.
smoothly. I mean, granted, I think we should probably keep it a little bit more concise because at the end there, I don't think we ever really came down to a conclusion. But I mean, that doesn't really matter. It's a first-time episode, and I mean,
Yeah.
we're not really talking about these topics to come to a conclusion. We're talking about them to talk, right?
Yeah.
Talk and
Okay. So what I'll do is I'll upload them but unlisted, and then I'll let you guys see how the recording came out.
perfect.
All right. Sounds good. All right.
Cool.
All
Awesome.
right. Catch you guys later then.
Are we doing like Tuesday next week or Wednesday next week?